There, welcome everyone. Today we're taking a look at where social and humanoid robots actually are right now and what the credible predictions and projections tell us about the coming decade. Our aim isn't hype, it's about providing clarity actually. We want to understand the trajectory, the real applications, and what this might mean for care, society, and everyday life.
And we'll do this by stepping through what the global market looks like, key technological drivers, how different world regions are approaching robots, and who the key players are. Then we'll look briefly at some key applications and finish with some of the challenges to humanoid robot development. By the end of this presentation, you should have a clear sense of both what robots can do today and what's realistically on the horizon.
Thanks for that, Perry. Yeah, so let's begin with scale and some definitions. The global robotics landscape divides broadly into industrial robots, service robots, and social or humanoid robots.
And the fastest growth is in the humanoid robots, which are seeing increased output of 40 to 50% annually. Meanwhile, personal care robots remain the largest current market as they address immediate needs. And long-term projections vary. The global bank Goldman Sachs suggests a $38 billion humanoid market by 2035, while another bank, Morgan Stanley, imagines the wider ecosystem reaching several trillion dollars by 2050.
Well, that's an enormous amount, isn't it, of resource. So, how are different parts of the world approaching this shift? Asia Pacific is the manufacturing powerhouse. China is scaling at a remarkable speed. Japan still produces nearly half the world's industrial robots, and South Korea remains the country with the highest actual deployment of robots. In this region, rapid state investment and long cultural acceptance of robots are major accelerators.
Meanwhile, North America emphasizes innovation and entrepreneurialism. Companies like Boston Dynamics, Tesla, Figure AI, and Agility Robotics illustrate this. This region attracts huge venture capital investment and benefits from strong university-industry connections. The thinking in this region is move fast, iterate, and create commercially viable platforms.
Europe takes a different stance, Perry. It places human-centered design, ethics, and collaboration at the center. The EU is investing heavily through Horizon Europe, while countries like Germany lead in collaborative robotics. European robotics emphasizes augmentation rather than substitution of workers, building systems that work with people, not instead of them.
So, who is actually building the robots we hear about? We still see the established leaders, SoftBank Robotics with Now and Pepper, Boston Dynamics with Atlas and Spot, ABB with global industrial dominance, and Toyota and Honda building on their expertise in making cars. UB Tech in China has brought the first mass-market domestic humanoid to consumers at around $20,000.
Okay, and then there's the emerging wave. This includes companies such as Figure AI, Tesla, Optimus, Agility Robotics, and 1X Technologies. These firms are attracting major investments as they promise humanoids that can handle everyday physical tasks. The key pattern here is clear. Companies that present robots as AI-driven platforms, not just machines, secure the biggest funding.
And then beyond these headline players, there's also a global startup ecosystem, with around 147 startups operating in the social robotics field, with 70 of these currently funded. A smaller number have moved into the later funding stages, suggesting some consolidation. But the message is the same. AI is now the narrative that drives investment and ambition.
Yeah, so where are these robots actually making an impact? Healthcare and elder care dominate the markets. These applications account for roughly a third of the entire social robotics market globally. Robots are already providing medication reminders, mobility support, guided physiotherapy, companionship, and vital sign monitoring. This isn't speculative. These systems are in real use today.
And there are clear reasons why healthcare leads. We're facing a global demographic shift with over 2 billion people aged over 60 by 2050. At the same time, there are major workforce shortages, and robots offer a way to ease pressure while improving consistency of support. The willingness to pay from both families and healthcare systems is higher here than almost anywhere else.
Right. Well, education and edutainment essentially make up the majority of the remaining market. In classrooms, robots are supporting language learning, STEM demonstrations, and autism-related interventions. In entertainment, companion robots like Lovett and interactive toys dominate, particularly in Asia, where social robot acceptance is strong. This trend towards entertainment robotics is important. It normalizes robots in everyday spaces and creates familiarity. These companion-style robots effectively prepare the cultural ground for more sophisticated care and service robots later on.
And if we look ahead a bit to 2030, projections vary, but they cluster between 40 and 70 billion US dollars across social and humanoid markets. The drivers are predictable: better AI, lower costs, demographic pressures, and rising social acceptance. The convergence of large language models, computer vision, and multimodal interaction is transforming what robots can understand and do.
Aha, but technology only succeeds if it works reliably, Perry. Humanoid robots will need to hit consistent performance standards before they can scale up. AI is central to future robot development. Costs must come down to accessible ranges so that ordinary people can access robots either through purchase or rental. And safety, both physical and digital, has to be designed in from the beginning rather than bolted on.
So, to conclude, healthcare is the field where we are most likely to see social robotics development. Robots that can carry out specific tasks, such as delivery of supplies in hospitals or ones that are targeted towards companionship for older people, these are more likely to succeed than what we might call general-purpose robots. These robots will be designed to work with or to augment human work rather than to replace it. And finally, any adoption of social robots will only happen if it aligns with existing cultural values and ways of working.
Yeah, so we hope you have found this overview of the humanoid robot field useful, and we will go on to explore many of these issues in the activities that follow.